Hey guys, DC here, and this is my recap of the Lox Versus Dipset matchup held in Madison Square Garden this past Tuesday. Now before I get into this video, if you haven't seen my prediction video on this matchup, please take a look at that first and then come back to this video. Now as far as the topic of this video, I want to speak on what it means to be an MC, some of the reasons why Dipset lost, and I guess just hip hop in general. Now, the first thing I need you to do and understand is you want to get into the psyche of Cam and kind of his approach and his shift between, emceeing initially kind of when he was first started in the game, and then his transition into Dipset and his approach to, creating the group and its expansion. Now, there's videos or interviews of Cam, where he's being quoted saying that, when he was expanding Dipset, so this is beyond Jim and Juelz. I'm getting further into, J.R. Ryder, Hell Rel, 40 Cal. When they're going through that expansion, Dipset and the members were always battling, always ciphering back and forth, right? Just staying sharp, right? Now, who would always win those battles, those little ciphers Dipset always did? J.R. Ryder, like at that time of expansion, was, the spitter in the group, right? So he'd normally win those battles, those ciphers. They go, right on the tour bus, whatever it is, and give them an hour, they come back and they spit. Now, Cam is quoted as saying that J.R. Ryder won most of those battles, right? So J.R. Ryder, was known for, again, being able to, obviously write. And funny, before I get further into that, he was originally named J.R. Ryder, like Ryder, and then eventually that kind of, shifted into Ryder, at a later point in time, just because, his prowess, with pen and pad. So J.R. Ryder was winning these battles as they were going through this expansion. But Cam said that, at the end of the day, J.R. Ryder was a great spitter, great rapper. That's cool. But he always brings up, at the end of the day, who would you rather be? Would you rather be J.R. Ryder or Juelz, or J.R. Ryder or Jim? Right? So the separation he's outlining there is, the swag factor, if you want to call it that, right? Who's swaggier between JR or Juelz, JR or Jim? Right? So that mindset, that psyche, that approach, when you're expanding is, he wants, obviously he's expanding his group. He wants people who can spit. He wants people who can write. But at the end of the day, he knows who's going to be more marketable, right? A Jim, a Juelz. But at the same time, they may be more marketable, but you're losing a little bit of that talent, that that foundation of being able to rap when you do that, right? And the thing is, Cam can rap, and I don't want to make it seem like Juelz and Jim can't rap, but the thing is, their approach to song making is much different than like a JR or a Hell Rel, right? Because again, the skill set is not there. It's not as sharp. So that sort of approach and mindset, I feel, sort of manifested in the versus battle, more or less. It's almost like Cam was almost setting himself up to take this L potentially without him really even noticing it, right? So I want you guys to keep that in mind as we get through this video. Just that approach of taking swag over rapability kind of caught up to him in this battle, and it was exposed, unfortunately. Now, as far as more hip hop in general and kind of Dipset's approach to music, there is, and again, this is going to be maybe not the most popular opinion, so I know people are going to kill me, but there is lazy songwriting within Dipset, right? Within that camp, there is a laziness to their approach to songwriting. Now, yes, production is a major part of the song. It's maybe over 50% of the song. But at the end of the day, production, it can be strong and you really sell and push your song. But the thing is, the lyrics and the writing need to be somewhat sort of comparable or kind of live up to what production that you've been provided by your producer, right? And there's plenty of songs that I think are super great, super cool, but the writing could, if there's just a little bit more effort into it, the songs that are great that you hear on the radio from Dipset, they could be, I feel, launched into a higher sort of echelon as far as how they're seen by hip hop and the fans, right? So let me, for example, Santana. And again, in my last video too, you saw in my potential songs I had, I think there's 3 Joel's singles that I was like, oh, who knows, they may play them, who knows, they may not. And I had 3 in that category. So it was Mic Check, it was Santana, and it was the Whistle Song. And I said those 3 songs are pretty much interchangeable. Choose one of them to make it into the battle, but I doubt all 3 of them will. Now, with my prediction, only one of those songs made it into the actual battle, and that was Santana. Now, one thing I also was wrong on as far as a must play, Oh Yes wasn't played during the battle. So that's neither here or there. And I'm going to get more into maybe my list in just a second as far as my listing of songs, because a lot of people are taking that list so literal. It's not supposed to be taken as a literal sort of, a literal sort of schedule of what was going to be played that night. It's just a concept. It's an idea. It's more than that. You have to look at the overall picture as far as what I was trying to convey. Now back to Santana really quick here, right? So Santana was played from Mic Check, the Whistle Song. Santana was chosen. Now, when I'm having these conversations with people on the internet, my friends, whoever it may be, everyone says, the Whistle Song. There's no song that Dipset or the Lox has for the Whistle Song, right? The Whistle Song's so unique. Everyone says, put the Whistle Song has to be a must play. I would replace that with like an Oh Yes, or replace it with whatever you want to replace it with. Everyone thinks that the Whistle Song is going to make it in. No. So the thing is, the Whistle Song, based on the production, right? So it's a great song. It did its numbers, right? But as far as that crowd, and again, I'm speaking, obviously, I'm playing like Monday morning quarterback here a little bit. But even in my video, I didn't think it would even make it into the top 20. So Whistle Song didn't make it, Mic Check didn't make it, and again, those are very popular songs for the fans. Everyone loves them. Santana made it, right? So this gets me back to lazy writing. And again, try to follow me here. Sorry if I'm bouncing around a little bit, but back onto my original topic, lazy writing in that approach. Now, Santana, crazy production, right? From Joel's, I don't know if Heatmakers, whoever made it. Great production. The song should be a lot bigger than what it is, though, right? So Santana, it did get radio play. There was a video, pretty cool video. I think his legs hanging out the Phantom, and I think Drake, maybe quoted that or referenced, that video or the song kind of in one of his songs, right? So it was a pretty, decent song, right? But it should be much bigger than what it is. The thing is with Santana, the writing aspect is almost not there at all, right? So go back and listen to Santana. It's catchy, and Joel's is spitting on it, but again, there is a lot of like dead air in a lot of these Dipset songs. It's not only Santana, but Santana just comes to mind because it made it kind of out of those three potentials I have for Joel's. When Mic Check and other songs didn't make it. So Santana, love that song, but listen to it. There is a lot of dead space. It's not full. Okay, with the lyrics. And I understand not every hip hop song or not every rap song or rapper is gonna fill up bar for bar fill up their bars with lyrics, right? So every song has a different melody, and it has to go with the song initially. But the thing is, that's not the only Dipset song. Again, I could make the same argument with "I Really Mean It" as well, where great production, cool song. Even Cam referenced it in the song itself. He's taken like bars off to let the production breathe. And yes, you want to let the production breathe, but again, I feel like that's more lazy writing, right? Because in the lyrics that he does use in the song, he's not really saying much, right? And again, this catches up with him throughout this battle here. So Santana, it makes it in, cool song. Doesn't do so well though during that battle. It doesn't do so well. I think it comes maybe towards the end of the matchup, and it comes in and it goes. It may have been like in one of those medleys, which I'll kind of get into a little bit later on. But again, there's a lot of lazy writing, and once you pair that up with somebody who is putting a lot into their lyrics, like a Lox, it starts to look ugly very quickly. Now, you may not notice it, right? So you're casual fans and of hip hop and rap. If you go to a Dipset concert, you'll you like the songs, the production's cool, everything. That's awesome, that's fine. But once it's being paired up with like a Jadakiss or a Styles, and they're going back to back, Dipset starts to get exposed very easily once you see those comparisons, and once you got to judge, and you got to choose rounds, because I'm live in the building trying to choose rounds. You start to see it real quickly. So again, lazy writing is again one of maybe not the main reason they lost, but again one of the reasons that contributed to Dipset losing this Verzuz. Now, and again, I think that was something where Cam potentially dug his own grave earlier on, as far as the direction he wanted to go with Dipset. Coming from when he was very lyrical to dumbing it down, again, being able to get the fans maybe more into the lyrics and songs that people could sing along to. That's great, but again, it wound up working against him in this scenario, and he was exposed for it. Now, moving forward here, just the unity, right? Now, so beyond lazy songwriting, Dipset didn't look prepared, right? So if you see them, they're on stage, they perform, and historically, Cam is known not to be a good performer, and it showed, the night of. And again, he is the captain of the team, as I said in my last video, and you can see Joel's and Jim and Zeke, kind of running around the stage, and again, there's not really much unity to it. It looks like just a group of people there up there spitting, and they spit their verse, and the other one doesn't know, the other's verse. As opposed to the Lox, where you can see that Jadakiss knows his verse and everybody else's verse. Go back and watch the verses one more time or a few more times, and you can see that Jada, Styles, Sheik, they all know each other's verses, and Jadakiss is the main example of that. He knows everyone's verses, and that's coming through so much better. When we're talking about live performance, right? So as far as performance goes, again, Cam is not a great live performer, and again, that's something I may not even have noticed throughout time, but it really shows when, again, you are matched up with somebody who is doing a live performance and really spin, right? So one thing that came up during the battle the other night, Jadakiss says, this is New York City, right? Why are they rapping over the words? And to a casual fan, you're like, wait, what does that mean? Rapping over the words? They wrote the song. It's their words. Why can't they rap over it? Well, the thing is, Jadakiss is referencing, again, being able to perform live, and can you match the quality that you recorded the song in? Can you match that in a live performance? All right, so that kind of transitions me into emceeing a little bit here. So what it means to be an MC. An MC is a mic controller. We've all heard that, right? That's what MC, the initials, stand for. MC moves the crowd. We've all heard that. MC moves the crowd. An MC has stage presence, right? So Jadakiss is solid in the foundation and the fundamentals of hip hop and what that actually means. He may be one of the few MCs that were on the stage. I'm not saying Styles and Sheik are, in that same sort of, category as far as, being true to the fundamentals of hip hop, but obviously it shines the brightest through Jadakiss. Like I said in my other video, my prediction video, a lot of people were saying that, maybe I'm giving Jadakiss too much credit. If anything, I was not giving him enough credit as far as being the individual who ended this battle. Go back and watch my video if you haven't seen it, or if you've already seen it. I said, and again, I can't predict everything that was going to happen that night, but I had a concept, an idea based on prior performances of what was going to happen. Now, Jadakiss, depending on how close you follow Jadakiss and how much of his music you know, he may have spit something the other night at the Verzuz that you never heard of, right? So it's, whether it's a freestyle or a song that he's written, it's something that, you are unaware of, right? And that's what ended the battle. So around round 4, my prediction originally of, Jadakiss is going to do something to end this battle. The battle, and again, I was in the building. I was in in I don't want to say a Lox section, but again, the people around me, for the most part, who I was talking to, they were Lox fans, right? So they had the Lox winning, but my guy that was behind me, he was actually from Harlem, and he still had the Lox winning. Round 4, when Jadakiss spits his freestyle, that's when the whole tone and the energy really shifted into the Lox's favor. That freestyle was just, and the thing is, enduring a live crowd, a live performance, to do something like that in a rowdy building, a rowdy New York crowd, and that stage, you guys saw the stage if you were there live, or even on Verzuz, you're watching through the app or on IG. You saw how crowded and all the commotion on there. To do something like that on that stage is not easy. So again, that shows his true talent. The breath control, right? So let's talk about again the workouts they were doing up until the battle, right? So back and forth, we know that Jadakiss works out, and Jim works out, and Jim's doing like one-legged squats and whatever it is, push-ups and pull-ups, and you see Jada doing his workouts and everything like that. What goes into being a good MC, right? So we have the definition of what an MC does, but what goes into it are a few things. So we have breath control, right? So you're spinning all night, you're talking to a mic all night, right? That, and you're screaming, you're shouting, you're running around stage, you see them sweating. That takes significant cardio to be able to do that all night at a high level, right? So I'm assuming Jadakiss, all of them are doing cardio, but maybe at different levels. I know that Jada and Jim, they're always kind of posting on IG their workouts. I don't know about Cam and Joel's, if they're even working out. But to be able to do what he did, Jadakiss takes breath control. What else does it take? It takes vocal projection, right? So a lot of people were saying the mics are messed up. The mics, the mics are muffled for Dipset, right? They're not coming through as clear, which may be true. I'm not going to lie. So the thing is, the mics are just one sort of potential contributing factor of why Dipset sound the way that they do, right? So again, vocal clarity, Jadakiss obviously has, and he's raspy too, which makes it even crazier to me, in my opinion. Like makes it better. So he has vocal clarity, vocal projection, and breath control. You need all those. You need those 3 things plus other things as well. But those 3 things will contribute significantly, in your favor when you're emceeing all night and you have to perform live. You can see that. And again, I love Joel's and Cam and everything like that, but I know Joel's that, he may not have that same vocal clarity due to, things that he's engaged in the past. And I'm not going to get into that right now in this video, but, his performance has suffered from it, in my opinion. and it just is what it is. So there is the issue of vocal clarity with Jewels, definitely potentially Cameron, and Jim as being like true MCs. Okay, projection, right? Being actual showmen. There's an issue there. Now that issue between those three is further compacted with potential mic issues, right? But again, there's no bailing them out, based on kind of what I saw, the other night. So, but that's just one thing that we can potentially consider, right? So we have a combination of lazy songwriting, potential issues with, cardio, working out, which affects your breath, affects, and then if you don't have the proper breath, then you're going to have a negative impact on vocal projection. And then, which also is, compounded with, vocal clarity. And as you can see, when you watch back the video, if you were there live, Jadakiss was able to maintain that the entire night. Plus, the mics for the Lox may have been louder or more turned up. Who knows, right? But what also helps the Lox is they have taken, or Jadakiss, or I want to say the majority of their songs, they've taken the vocals off their songs, right? So going back to what I just stated, and again, I don't think I kind of got too into it. I didn't explain it further enough. But Jadakiss, references saying why are they rapping over the words? And to a casual fan, it doesn't really matter. But this actually helps, with vocal clarity, in my opinion, especially when you're on a crowded stage, you got a loud crowd. They've taken the vocals off of their songs, which shows confidence as an MC to be able to take your vocals off and still kind of replicate the quality that somebody would hear in a CD studio recording. First of all, your songs, your lyrics, you're confident in your lyrics, and you're in the proper shape to perform them without the backup, right? So having the words, right, as Jadakiss says, the words on your track, the vocals on your track when you're performing live, it's a crutch for MCs, right? Because again, you don't have to spit every word. Spitting every word's tired, right? You have the fans that can easily follow along too, while with the track when the MC is not rapping, so the fans can rap for you. Your vocals are rapping for you, so it's a much easier go, right? But with like Jadakiss, who's taking the vocals off his songs, a lot of people you have to really know the song yourself as a fan to be able to rap with him, right? So you're not being guided by anything. So that's why with a lot of Jada's his freestyles and his verses, there's not really a lot of fans that are rapping with him. I would say they are, but again, you're more so listening because it's coming through crystal clear. You can hear every word, and you're just taking it in. So that's what again is edging the Lox in almost every round. Right, so I can't judge this. Right, it's very hard to judge something like this. First of all, the format. Let's switch back on the format for a second. First of all, the format is way different from any other verses. This wasn't a 1 verse 1 night. My list in my prior video, I had a scenario that I provided you guys with a 1 versus 1 setup. Right, and a lot of people got so kind of focused on those specific matchups I had in my prior video. It's not about the specific matches. It's not about I Get High or Good Times versus We Fly High. It's not about. It's about the energy. It's about the feelings. It's the overall concept as far as the approach that each group is going to bring. I spoke about diversity of songs and what a grimy song can do in that environment versus a radio friendly song. Right, so we got to see, how that played out. Now, the biggest example of that, and again, the majority of the songs that I had on my list were played that night. Right, so a lot of people were saying that my list was, it was ignorant. It didn't make sense. It was a terrible sort of matchup and whatever it may be, the songs are played. And of course, I'm not going to predict every single matchup, right? So one of the matchups here that was just kind of to give you an overall concept, and I said you can replace the songs however you like, you can replace them however you want, right? So one song, I'm Ready, which is a high level Dipset song. I'm Ready is a very high level Dipset song. It went up against FU, right? So I think that when I had my matchups, I may have had like maybe like an Oh Boy, which is also, my song that I think represents Dipset the best. I had Oh Boy going up against FU, I think, in my original video. Go back and check that for me. But during the night, it happened to be that FU went up against I'm Ready as the first songs. And one other thing here, which I'm going to touch on later, the Lox went first and Dipset went last. So it's already, technical foul there. You can't have the Lox go first. If the Lox go first, then they should go last. But that's a different sort of a conversation we'll have maybe later. But anyway, I'm Ready goes up against FU, and you see how the performances and how that goes over. So FU, it was performed so well that, again, I'm Ready was just washed out. And I'm Ready is a very high level Dipset song, as opposed to maybe, I would say, maybe a mid to high level Lox song. I think most people, if you were playing them like maybe on the radio, whatever it may be, or not on the radio, if you have, let's say you're having a party, I'm Ready's going to come on before FU, right? So, you see that, again, that grimy, that gritty type song, did its thing, did what it had to do against I'm Ready, which is, seen as, a lot of people's favorite Dipset song, or it's at least up there. All right. So beyond that, we have, let me see here. We have the performances that were just taking over really a lot of the production that Dipset was providing. You have someone who's barring you out every verse. Verse is great production, but on the production, there's not really much being said. So it was just a perfect storm for Dipset to get caught up in that. And a lot of people may have been surprised, but I wasn't. At the end of the day, I saw the Fab battle. The same thing happened within the Fab battle, and I predicted that pretty much the same thing was going to happen in this Dipset versus Lox. Now, I wanted to just speak back a little bit more on performance and Jadakiss, and I want to use a comparison really quick here for you guys. So, a lot of people were kind of questioning, would Jadakiss's performance be able to outshine Dipset in their production? And it shows that it did, right? Now, one person I want to use in comparison, why performance can outshine or beat something that has a great sort of like a great song, right? Is my comparison here is, and again, you guys may not know who this is, or you probably do, but you don't know his origins, is Hitman Holla. So just stay with me here. Now, Hitman Holla is a battle rapper, right? But you probably know him more from Wild 'N Out. So Hitman Holla's been on Wild 'N Out for a few seasons now. I don't know how many seasons. But before he was on Wild 'N Out, he was a battle rapper. Now, Hitman Holla is known to have the best performance in battle rap. Hands down. He has the most views, best performance. But as a total package, right? as a total package, almost like a good song, right? Like a good song is a total package. He just has the performance. His lyrics aren't necessarily crazy, right? Battle rappers are normally kind of the lyrics are at least decent, right? But for battle rap, amongst battle rappers, he's more focused on performance, and that's where he shines. It's his overall performance. Now, it's not his lyrics, right? And it's not his song making ability that has put him on Wild 'N Out. It was just that raw performance, that raw talent to be able to perform, to be able to project, vocal clarity, right? Breath control. He's an athlete. That's what puts him over the top in many battle rappers' eyes. So a lot of people don't realize this when they're watching a performance or watching battle rap, why they like certain performers. It's those things, but subconsciously you're not necessarily thinking about, oh, I like his vocal clarity, I like his vocal projection, I like his breath control. You're thinking, oh yeah, he's rapping good. But those are the elements that go into being able to perform at that level and being able to overwhelm an opponent and be able to overwhelm a good song, right? So Jadakiss is able to take a great song and then, wash it out with, again, just a great lyrical performance on stage, right? So that's why that freestyle he did, I'm not sure what it went up against. It went up against a really good Dipset song too, if I'm not mistaken. It may have went up against like crunk music or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And and most people still have that winning, right? Jadakiss' freestyle over an actual, highly produced song, right? So that's why these versus battles, you have to pay attention. You have to kind of know your history, see what's been winning in prior, right? Jadakiss, Fab, Ludacris, Nelly, right? Nelly has the radio, but Ludacris, right? He spits, right? It's different, right? Ludacris can freestyle. Ludacris was a radio DJ. Ludacris, like I've been mentioning, has the vocal projection, vocal clarity, breath control, all those things you need to be able to freestyle, outside of being able to think on your toes, things like that, if you're, coming off the top of the dome. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're watching these performances and you're watching the verses or you're watching the battle. That's the reason the majority of time an MC will win, or a reason why that, MC has a large fan base. Now, let me get into just or go back to a little bit of the formatting. So I had it 1v1, the matchups. I had it a 1v1 with the matchups, but we saw that there were several medleys, right? So the Lox may play one song and then Dipset may play two songs. The Lox may play two songs and Dipset will play 5 songs. That was happening towards the end, so you can't judge this battle. We know Dipset lost, obviously, but it's at a point where the battle becomes very difficult to judge in those latter rounds when it's medley after medley after medley, and then we also have Dipset going last, right? So it just becomes messy. So I can't give you guys like 11-9 or like a 12-8. I was saying 11-9 when we first, when I was in the building before it started. There's people around me saying I think 14-6, things like that before it started, right? But as you get into some of these medleys they were doing, it's just tough to kind of keep track and how to kind of wait out those songs. So it gets pretty kind of it gets messy later on. Now, I want to talk about moments, I guess, in the battle here. So that I think that's the easiest way to kind of judge it, more or less. Now, the Lox were consistent throughout the battle as far as that energy level in their moments, right? So the biggest moment, and I may have already mentioned this, was that round 4. That freestyle was really big, and then Jada kind of followed that up later on in the battle with maybe 1 or 2 other kind of freestyles where he's just up there just spin. But that first one in round 4 was a huge sort of energy kind of momentum shift within the arena. So that round 4 was a big moment when the Lox played I'm from New York, or I'm trying to think of the song, Ja Rule's song, got 100 guns, 100 clips, I'm from New York. that was a huge that was also a huge shift, or maybe just kind of a huge moment rather, within the battle. All About the Benjamins obviously was a huge moment in the battle. So they had a lot kind of throughout the entire battle, where again the energy was there. Knock Yourself Out, when that came on, that had a huge sort of great response to the crowd. So the Lox was getting a lot of energy, a lot of reaction throughout the battle. And again, I can't name them all, but it was pretty consistent. Now on the other hand, with Dipset, not a lot of memorable moments. And again, they were hurting themselves with their song selection and the timing of when they played their songs. Now, but one thing that I can't remember with this, or one sort of energy changer or momentum lifting, was when Dipset Anthem came on. But as you know, Dipset Anthem came on towards, later on in the battle. And again, the thing is with this battle, it's hard for me to even give you, was it in the first 10 or the second 10? Because they didn't stop. They just kind of went all the way through. So I don't even know where they stopped. They just kept going straight. So this battle at this point becomes very hard to judge or even give you a point of reference. But Dipset Anthem was towards the, end. It had to be maybe in that second 10, if I'm not mistaken. But, what's really 10? Because they were playing 5-song medleys, towards the end there. But when Dipset Anthem came on, that was a lot of energy. Now, one of the matchups that I had pretty much, dead on was the Dipset Anthem and Benjamin's matchup. Now, but it did come the other way in reverse. So in my prediction video, I did say that I think I had, Dipset Anthem being played first and then, the Benjamins following it. In this case, towards the end of the battle, before they went so, medley heavy, Benjamins played, and then to counter it, Dipset played Dipset Anthem, right? So that was a great sort of back and forth. That was real, that was real crazy in the building. But I give it to Benjamins. Now the thing is, Benjamins in the building. At that point, again, they're not playing all the verses for all these MCs. You guys saw it. I think they just did Sheik's verse on Benjamin's, which is cool. The song speaks for itself. You don't have to really do much more than that. You can put anyone's verse on there. Just let it play. You're good to go. Dipset Anthem, it may have performed a little bit better in that scenario. But, by that time, the Lox was already heavily kind of winning in most people's eyes by that time. So Benjamin's comes on, Dipset Anthem comes on, and Benjamin's, I give it to Benjamin's in the building, and then obviously outside of the building, you have to give it to Benjamin's too. So that was a great moment, but again, Dipset loses that matchup. Because I think that was a 1-verse-1 matchup. I don't think there was like a medley tied into any of those songs. Now, one error Dipset made was Hey Ma, Oh Boy. That was a medley that kind of came together. I think they played Oh Boy, then Hey Ma, or whatever order it was in. And it was just those two songs. They didn't need to play those two songs together. Those two songs could have came separately, but that was just sort of like an error on their part, not thinking. It is what it is. They still may have won that. Yeah, they won that round. I can't remember what was played against it. They won that round, in my opinion. But I think that most people would want to have those songs separated, Oh Boy and Hey Ma. And again, I had both those songs on my original list. What else I want to speak about? And yeah, Santana. I spoke about that already. It just was my example of the lazy songwriting. And one thing about, and I'm gonna jump back really quick here about songwriting and not songwriting, but about performance and being able to perform live on stage. Now, what Jadakiss did that night is, it's hard to explain, right? The difficulty in what he did. Being able to have the confidence to do that is one thing, and be able to accomplish it is another. But you can see where people were attempting it, other MCs were attempting something like that, and it just wasn't going over as well, or you saw little kind of hiccups here and there. So for example, just to kind of critique the Lox a little bit, Sheik Luch had an issue, or not a huge issue, but in 24 Hours to Live, his verse, he starts to come in a little bit early, and then you can see that the DJ kind of stops him, right? So you're gonna have that issue when you're on stage and it's rowdy and they're pushing each other. You got the crowd there, and you don't have your lyrics that are helping you kind of follow along, right? So he comes in a little bit, maybe 8 bars early. The DJ had to stop him, get him back on the proper count, and let him know when to come in. So again, Jada didn't have that issue at all the whole night. So keep that in mind. So, but yeah, you saw Sheik with that little stumble, again, minor stumble. But I just wanted to note that again, how difficult it is to do what Jadakiss did that Versus night. And we also saw what happened with Cam towards the end of the battle. He also tried to do a little bit of a freestyle, did not go over well. I don't know what he was trying to do. He's talking about getting the gun. If anyone has an issue with him, the crowd wasn't feeling that. They started booing him. They started chanting D Block, and that really kind of just sealed the deal for me with the loss for Dipset after Dipset captain and chief gets booed in Madison Square Garden. So for all the people saying that Dipset was gonna clean up, that wasn't the case, especially in the building. And let me know if you were in the building. I was outside. Jada said he was outside. I was outside too. I was there live. So just to kind of be part of history. Now, more errors just on the part of Dipset. They played a lot of songs late. So I think that I Really Mean It was the last song. Obviously, that came way too late. It was weird. It was awkward. They can't just kind of force that in there. I Really Mean It. It was out of place. It needed to be played earlier in the night. Same thing with Down and Out. Down and Out came very late in the night. It needed to be played earlier. Those songs needed to be played earlier. Hey My Old Boy needed to be separated and probably played earlier as well. But it just got very messy at the end with the medleys, and those songs were thrown in there. But that's pretty much my review and recap. Let me know what you think. I saw this coming from a mile away, to be honest with you. Check out my old video. And again, just pull out the concept of it, what I said about Jada ending the battle, which he did, being able to switch songs in and out and not have a different outcome. I said all those things. Don't get caught up in the detail. Try to take out, read between the lines, take out the general concept of my prior video, and let me know if you think I was accurate or not in my prediction. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, you can't win if you don't play.